right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Soul Aligned Living. I am Dr. Latoya Davis, and I love to talk about things to help you identify where you are operating in societal, ancestral, or karmic patterns to help you get to the best version of the life that you want. Today, we are doing something different. I have a guest on. So, we're going to do interview style today, and I'm really excited about this. Today, I have joining me Dr. Keisha Holly Johnson. She is a I do know how to talk, a licensed clinical psychologist, an EFI priestess, and a healer who integrates psychology and spiritual wisdom. And she brings energy healing and all of those things together to facilitate deep transformation. Dr. Keisha Holly Johnson is the founder of an institute called the Akasaman Institute, and she will tell us all about that and a little bit more. But before I bring her on officially, I just want to just talk a little bit about kind of her general philosophy and approach, because this is why I brought her on today to talk with us. She believes in healing the mind, body, and spirit as one interconnected system, using the Akashic Records to uncover soul level patterns and blockages. And y'all know I love my Akashic Records, right? And combining EFI divination with psychology to help individuals align with their Ori. And then lastly, reconnecting to ancestral wisdom as a source of strength and healing. So if you know me, if you've been in my community, you know that these are kind of all of the things that I love to put together. And I met Dr. Keisha as I'm someone who's kind of come through my community, and so I'm very happy to share her with you all. So with that, I am going to turn it over to her so that she can introduce herself in a more informal way than I just kind of read going through her bio. So first of all, thank you so much for joining me today, Dr. Johnson, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Latoya, for having me come on. It is definitely an honor to be in the room with you. I'm kind of giddy because I was your student. I was your
Yes.
student. So, learning Akashic Records through you has been such a beautiful experience, and it's been a life-changing experience for me. So I would love to be able to talk about that. I'm sure we'll talk about that as we go on. So the Akasamon Institute actually was founded by my husband, uh, Aloye Shangodare Ifagbemi, and I joined in the purpose with him.
Yes.
And the purpose of the Akasamon Institute is to essentially raise everyone's awareness of themselves, to raise their consciousness through various modalities. We use astrology, numerology, Ifa divination, Akashic record reading, all of these different modalities to help people identify their soul blueprint and what are the things that they're needing to do in order to be successful within life. And so through the Akasamon Institute, we provide classes for people who are looking for different tools, for these things that we've just mentioned. We've developed a community also on Mighty Networks where we're providing people with information, quotes, different tools that they could use to just continue to be living their life in a soul aligned way. And we use a variety of philosophies, so not just Yoruba or Ifa philosophy, but we also look at other um, indigenous traditions as well, and try to marry all of those things together to provide people with a broad spectrum of different ways that they're able to discover themselves. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. As you mentioned, I am a licensed clinical psychologist here in Houston, Texas. And I like to consider myself a holistic psychologist at this point because
Mm-hmm.
I utilize so many different modalities to help people, again, find themselves again. I primarily work with people with trauma, though. So I specialize in working with people with PTSD um, because of, again, some of the difficulties, a lot of the blockages and things that they have experienced based on those emotional difficulties. And so the way that I work with them helps them to uncover a lot of those blockages and to work towards healing, work towards
Mm-hmm.
healing. So, like you mentioned, I do Akashic record reading. I'm a Reiki master, crystal and sound healing provider, as well as doing Ifa divination and other Ifa practices.
So I want to highlight just a few things, right? So I live in this world where I'm always talking about, everything is energy. I know y'all probably, hear that ad nauseum from me, right? Everything is energy, and it's because I truly believe that. And I think that one of the things that you're highlighting by bringing in kind of this rounded or this holistic, right, approach to the person, is the way that you get to experience the person in this holistic way is by understanding that there is not one right system or one right thing, right? Because we kind of all are made up of we are these multifaceted, beings and people. And so why I was interested in you, right? Your things started popping up on my timeline. And I love um when someone is embedded in one idea. So it could be psychology, right? There could be a psychologist who's like, nope, this is what I do. This is all we need, right? Or there could be
Mhm.
someone in the Yoruba church is like, nope, this is what I do. This is all I need, right? And
Right.
I love that you're able to remove yourself from the ego and say, wait, no,
Mhm.
people need all of these things to come together. So if you can talk to us a little bit about like, how did you get to the point where you were able to say, wait a minute, this thing might be a little bit limited. Let me expand. And like, what did that expansion and that growth look like for you?
Oh my gosh, that is a very loaded question, Dr. Latoya. So, well, I'm going to start with me. I'm going to start with me. I had reached a point in my professional career where I felt very stagnant. So I came to this tradition as far as the tradition of Isheshe, as well as learning more about metaphysical healing modalities through my professional career. So because
Mm,
I was feeling very stagnant, I felt like the way that I was helping my patients was not enough. They would get to a plateau, um, and I couldn't seem to figure out why I couldn't get them past a particular plateau. And
mhm,
speaking of ego, I mean, it was all ego for me in the sense of I'm not doing something right or I'm not doing enough,
mhm,
and I don't know what's going on. So I started searching for just other things that I could do to try to help people. And what I realized in my search before I was even something that I'm interested in, I realized that the limitation was me. I
mm,
realized that a lot of patients that I was seeing was on some level a reflection of me, and that I could only go to a certain point, and that
mhm.
there was work that I needed to do for myself. There was some healing work that I needed to do for myself. And so that's what started me on this journey. I got introduced into with plant medicine, and that experience was definitely life changing for me. I was able to realize through some of the plant medicines that I took that I was supposed to be much more expansive than where I was currently operating, and that there was some other healing modalities that I was supposed to be integrating into my work,
Mhm,
that again I had no idea of. So I started getting some of these different downloads of all these different things that I needed to do. Spirit then started having me be introduced to various people in various traditions, and again masters of certain types of healing modalities. So
mhm,
for several years, I just worked on myself. I just worked on myself. I studied. I went through various, treatments and things like that to be able to um, just heal myself. So I did
mhm,
that for probably about, I want to say 3 or 4 years. And what I noticed as I was healing myself, the things that I was learning, I was passing on to my patients,
mhm.
and then they started healing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
um, that's pretty much how it started. So, again, knowing about energy, knowing how like attracts like, and that we
Mhm.
are all interconnected, I realized that these people were a reflection of me. And so, if I wanted things to be better for them, I also needed them to be better for me. Okay.
Yes.
So, again, everything I've learned has been so incredibly helpful for me personally. And I'm just passing that information on.
Yes. I love everything about that. What's really funny is a few days, today is Saturday. I don't know what today is. A few days ago, I was doing this prayer. And in the prayer, I said, and why I remember this because it shocked me when I said it. I was like, oh, I never said that before. But in this prayer, I said, um, may the people, may all of the people that I interact, no, I recognize the people that I interact with as reflections of me. May those aspects of people that resonate and bring out the best in me um, be the mirror that I need to continue. And may those people who reflect the aspects of me that I need to change, may it show it to me tenderly. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
universe, I hear you. Clearly, there are about to be some people, right,
Yes.
that's about to give me this thing right here that I'm going to have to take a moment and I don't need to be shocked. I got it. I received that. But I love the or the understanding really that the people that we encounter, right, they are these reflections. And as a healer, as a conduit for healing of others, that we can be the bottleneck, right?
Hmm.
We do attract those people. Like people are attracted to people for a particular reason, right? We all have a frequency, we all have a vibration, and if you do not have a particular frequency that resonates with somebody, or if they have a trauma or they have a thing or they have an experience that you don't have in your energetic field, it's impossible for that person to match you, right? So they
Absolutely.
can't be a client because there is no match. And so I think understanding that also allows us to be a little bit more compassionate, open and accepting of the people, and then allow us to experience and grow to our full capacity. So thank you for that.
Yes.
I want to go into a little bit of, so I think, and I could be wrong, but I feel like you were probably in like my first or second cohort of Akashic Record people who became certified, right? So
Yes.
one,
I think
I
the
am very
first.
happy. You were the first. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So that I am very happy to one, see you out there doing it and integrating it, right? And using all of the information. And I will also say during the class when we talk or when I teach it, I always say like the Akashic records are for you first, right? So that you can uncover and heal yourself first. And this like we don't get to start with going out to heal the world,
That's
right?
right.
We get to start with ourselves, and then as we work through the things with ourselves, then we get to go out and share. So just tell us a little bit about kind of your journey with the Akashic Records, how it is. Let's talk about it with you first personally, and then
Okay.
we can dive into a little bit of how you're integrating it.
Awesome. Awesome. So, like I mentioned earlier, the Akashic Records has definitely changed my life. First and foremost, it has helped me to have a different type of relationship with spirit, because I think the relationship that I had before was completely based on fear.
Mm,
It was an unhealthy relationship. And so, doing the Akashic Records, and first off, getting over my own fear of going into my records, being afraid of what was going to be revealed to me, right? I had to get over all of that. That's when I realized I had this unhealthy relationship. I had this unhealthy relationship with fear. And so, the first thing that I've learned that I still carry with me today is that spirit is loving, it's supportive, it's warm, it's always there to guide you so that you can reach your highest potential. And that is the thing that I keep with me because of having years and years and years of an unhealthy relationship, as far as just always
mm-hmm.
being scared. And this whole idea of like ghouls and goblins and demons and all this, just stuff that you hear, right? And so
Mhm.
that was implanted in my mind, and my logical mind would then blow it up to a point that was again very unhealthy. So just being able to go in regularly to my own records, get a lot of great information from my spirit guides, from my loved ones, from other angelic beings. And again, every experience has been beautiful, and I can't emphasize enough, warm and loving and supportive. So I always felt very, very light after
Mhm.
coming out of the records. So that light feeling is also something that just stayed with me. And it helped me to identify again some of these deep fears that I had, some things that were hindering me from moving forward in my life. I was able to identify certain blockages that needed to be uncovered and removed. And so I worked with it, consistently. But that feeling of spirit is awesome. Spirit is loving. Spirit is not
Mhm.
here to punish you, that it's so supportive. That's the thing that stays with me. That's the thing that stays with me. And that's the thing that I also will mention to clients who have some of those same types of ideas, or what I would consider
Mhm.
that unhealthy fear. That's
Mhm.
one of the first things I tell them is like, it's nothing like what you think. It's going to change your mind and your heart when you
Yes.
do this because of just even having that feeling.
Yes. 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 I love that. Why I love that is because it's like one thing when I say it, right? So we're
Mhm.
in class and I'm like, no, this is a realm of light.
Yeah.
All of the information that's going to come through is going to come through with the energy of love and
Yes.
guidance. There is no one judging you. Like, yes, I'm saying those things, but to have for then you to experience that, right? And then for that to be your consistent reality. Um,
Mhm.
makes me feel good, right?
Yes.
Not like
Yes.
I didn't do it. I didn't make it up. But you know, I didn't create the feeling, but just to know it's like my kids will call you on something in a minute, right? I can say, you know, um, eat this food, it's gonna taste good or it's gonna be good for you. And they will do it, right? But while they're
Mhm.
I don't like this, I don't think it's gonna be good for me. So they will do the thing because they trust me, right? And they know
Mhm.
that ultimately I'm not trying to harm them. But they will also come back and say, but it ain't what you said it was, right?
Right.
And so oftentimes that can happen. And so I love when the teaching and the reality are the same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a feeling that I carry with me 24/7, 365. So even when I'm, dealing with things out in the world, the chaos of the world, there's this feeling of protection. There's this feeling of support. There's this feeling of, again, love and light that stays with me all of the time. And I don't think I would have received that without going through this
Mhm.
process, or at least this is the process that was chosen for me to be
Right.
able to experience that and know that. So there is a knowing now where there was a little bit of doubt before. And so
Mhm.
there's a knowing now that stays with me all the time because of this.
Yes. So how do you do this work with your clients? Do you do this in your like traditional? So actually, how is your practice? Like, is it a traditional practice and you integrate things or do you kind of keep things separate? How does that? Yeah.
That's a good question. It's all of the above. So
Okay.
I actually do integrate most of these things into my practice, but I'm very specific in the sense of this is spiritual work or metaphysical work. This
Mhm.
is clinical treatment for
Mhm.
ethical reasons, for ethical
Mhm.
reasons. So I'm able to provide all of these services to you, but I need to be very specific that this is going to be under the spiritual consultation or metaphysical work versus what we would consider westernized clinical treatment.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, as far as integrating it within my practice, it really depends on the patient. So, I let them know everything that I do. As far as the things for like Akashic Records and some of the other alternative healing modalities that I do, they have to show that they're spiritually open. They have to show that they're spiritually open. I will say that since being going live with all of the services that I do for the past few years, that's pretty much all I attract. So again, you are what you attract. And so the people who are coming to me are actually seeking these services, which means they're already spiritually open and they're
Mhm,
ready to try anything.
mhm,
Um, and so I kind of let them lead as to what they're looking for. We'll start
mhm,
off with a spiritual consultation. I let
mhm,
them choose what they want that to be. You know, I'll explain what the Akashic Records is and what that reading looks like. If they're wanting an Ifa divination, I'll describe that
mhm,
and what that looks like, and just try to see what the general energy is and what's going on.
mhm,
We start off with that, and then we'll talk about what their actual treatment plan will look like and what's going to be utilized. Most of my patients do regular outpatient individual therapy or mental health therapy, and they'll
mhm,
do a mixture of Reiki, or they'll do a mixture of like crystal healing, because
mhm,
these are modalities that are used to help them open up more. So I tend to also attract people that have difficulty with speaking about their
mhm,
issues. So using these different types of modalities helps them to open up more within the therapeutic environment. And so that's what I typically have. The
mhm,
ones who use the Akashic record readings, I found my most effectiveness with people who suffer trauma, and they're open to the Akashic record reading because a lot of times they have these patterns of behavior that they don't even realize are affecting them, presently, and they don't
mhm,
know where it came from. So I always, in the midst of treatment, would say, why don't you try an Akashic record reading? Because I think we can get down to the bottom of
mhm, mhm, mhm,
where this
mhm,
trauma is coming from. Is this something that actually happened in your lifetime or previous lifetimes? Is it
mhm.
something that's being passed down through ancestors? Like, this is something that we can actually figure out if we
Right.
do this type of reading. And so it's been very, very successful with, discovering what those unconscious patterns of behaviors are. And they're able to then use that information to change their
Mhm,
life. It really,
mhm,
so they love it. I mean, I've had nothing but positive reviews for using it within the therapeutic environment. And also,
mhm.
in that feeling that I keep talking about, they feel it too. And they're just like, man, that's amazing. I've never felt anything like that before. And is this what it's like? And I'm like, yeah. And so even people who were not as open to spirituality become more open to it as a result of going through that
Mhm,
process with me. So that's
mhm.
great.
And so there's a list of, I don't know if it's called like black, it may be like black therapists who are ATR friendly or
I'm on the
some
list.
type of list like that, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so it came up in my Elay or Elay that I'm with. Someone dropped this list in there, and so I was like, let me open it, and I'm scrolling, and I was like, oh look, right, yay, one of my students is here, and I oftentimes, speaking of who we attract, for whatever reason, I attract a lot of people in kind of mental health fields and spaces, in
Hmm.
IT. I don't know why I get so many because I am the least tech person that you ever want to meet. Y'all see me on these lives and in my classes, right? But for whatever reason, I get a lot of people in tech space and a lot of people in mental health spaces, and kind of bringing these things together, right? Similar to your story in the beginning. Realize, wait a minute, I'm doing this work, but I'm not getting clients or my patients where I need them to be. Something else is there,
Right.
and then starting to look at these other modalities. But what I want to talk about is just kind of in general the stigma, right? And why I love this is because there is a stigma or has been a stigma. Hopefully, we are erasing that, right? Particularly in the Black community of us coming to get mental health services, right? Coming to get things. It's like, again, it's like, go pray, right? We can pray everything away. No, we can't, right? You gonna sit, you gonna go and sit and talk to them people on that couch and they don't know nothing about you, right? So all of those things are coming together, and so
Yes.
people oftentimes just have to get over that trauma in order to even take the first step. And so I love this approach where it's like, oh no, we can do these things together. You don't have to choose, right? Because
Right.
they both are in service to each other, right? They are
Yes.
both in service to each other, and I absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so I saw, I'm trying to pull it up again. Um, at your, so no, tell me a little bit while I pull it up while you talk about this. Tell me a little bit more about the A- Akasaman, I said it right, and the Akasaman Institute. You mentioned that you offer classes, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
So
tell us.
my husband, yeah, my husband and I offer classes to the community, and it's around a wide variety of things. But we talk about universal consciousness first and foremost, and all of the things that usually make that up. So we're talking about the seven hermetic principles. We talk about the Yoruba cosmology or Ifa cosmology. We talk about different modalities like astrology, numerology. Again, all of these different things that people can use to help discover themselves. Okay. We use the term to discover your soul blueprint. What are the different things that you can do? So we're giving them information or education about those things. And then what are some practical ways that you can use all of this? So you're getting all these ideologies, you're getting all this theology, but how can you actually use this in your day-to-day life? Okay. So we actually just finished a class talking about the seven hermetic principles. For
Mm,
those people that are not as familiar, that's like the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, the law of polarity, law of vibration and rhythm, and so on. The biggest one, everything is mind, everything is mental. Okay, all is
mhm,
mind. And so we talked a lot about the practical usage of being able to recognize these principles in your life every day. Okay, so these are some foundational things that everybody should know because it helps them to become more in tune not only with themselves but with their environment, so with everyone and everything around them. And so that's our goal within the institute, is just again people understanding themselves and then their connectedness to everything and everyone else, and the
mhm.
different ways in which that can be done. So we actually do have another class coming up starting the 17th of May, where we're talking specifically about Yoruba cosmology. So this is about all of the archetypal energies that we call the Orisha. All right. And how, again, these things can be used, or this archetypal energy can be practicalized in your life. So we do a lot of things like that. We do about maybe 4 to 5 courses per year. They range anywhere from 5 to 9 weeks.
Okay.
So,
Well, we love
yes.
practical application, right? We love practical
Yes.
application. So we are getting closer. I like to keep these at about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Before I go though, we're gonna do two things.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out how many I was gonna try to squeeze in here. So one thing, tell our viewers, right? I like to give a practical tip, right? Something that we can take away from today that they can kind of put into action. So
Okay.
when we talked a lot about kind of just the practicality of universal laws, the practicality of spirituality, like all of those things, what is a very easy way that someone can, leave here today with the practice that they can put into action and say, I learned this from Dr. Keisha.
Okay. So, one thing that I like to tell people to do is to there's an easy thing that they can do to get in tune with yourself, and that starts with just setting an intention for your day. So when you wake up in the morning, before you do anything else, set an intention for your day. And then you want to go throughout your whole day and just kind of be mindful of what happens, who the people that you meet, what are the circumstances you find yourself in, but also most importantly, how did you feel about it? How did you feel about it? So then at the end of your day, about an hour before you go to bed, I want you to do a self reflection. Okay. How did you, first and foremost, was your intention met for the day? Why or why not? Okay. If it's why not, how did you get in your own way?
Hmm.
How did you hinder yourself from being able to recognize or to see that the intention was met? Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
while you're doing that, you're focusing on how you felt. So I think a lot of times, especially in our society, we're on automatic pilot. There's always so much stuff that we're doing. And so this is the way that we lose ourselves so quickly. And so
Mhm.
doing this very simple thing of setting an intention and then asking yourself, did it get met? And how did you feel at the end of your day, every day, helps you to get more in tune with yourself.
Yes, I love that. I love the how did I get in the way? Like if it did not get met, and how did I get in the way? I love that. Right?
Mhm.
Because we are actively co-creating our reality all the time, right?
That's it.
We are the bottleneck every
That,
single time. We are the bottleneck, right? So I love that question. I love that reflection question. So you mentioned you have a class coming up May 17th. Is there anything else that you have happening that you want to tell the viewers about, and also let them know where they can find you at?
okay. So I actually do have a class coming up next Saturday. It is called Emotional Regulation Through the Wisdom of Ifa. So in this class, you're learning about how to control your emotions through the different archetypal energies that we call Orisha. Okay, it's a 2 hour course. Just coming in, and you're going to be given a lot of information, and then we're going to do some exercises. Again, it's always about practicality. How can I use this in my life every day? So that's coming up on Saturday, the 26th. I've been kind of advertising that on my social media. I can also provide that information here. People can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I have a pretty difficult name. I'm wondering if I should put that in the chat
Well,
or.
it'll be in the description.
Okay,
So
great.
yeah, everything will be in the description when the show goes out.
Okay, beautiful. Then they can find me at Jacob's Ladder Psychological Services. Jacob's Ladder Psychological Services. You can Google it. And I should pop right on up. Okay, because right now I'm the only one with that name. So, but I'm here in Houston, Texas. Again, I'm available to everyone. It doesn't matter what state they're in. Okay. So I can provide those services in person or virtually. So they can find me again at Jacob's Ladder Psychological Services. It will list everything that I do. As far as the classes that I teach, that is found at www.ganphilosophy, GAN philosophy.com. Or you can Google the Akasamon Institute or Gone Philosophy. That will show up. You can click on classes and be able to sign up there.
Well, I want to thank you again so much for sharing time today with me and sharing space. Everyone out in the land, I hope that you have enjoyed our conversation. Hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Feel free to leave a comment in the chats. You all know that I like a good comment, and I will absolutely respond and reply. As I mentioned, all of her information will be in the show description, so feel free to follow her or check her out. And again, I am always happy to know that the work that I do gets to kind of go out and live in other people in the way that it's supposed to live through them, right? It lives through
Yes.
me the way it's supposed to live through me. And then when I share it and other people get it, my godfather always says, if I teach you something today and I come back to you in 10 years and it still looks the same, you haven't done anything with the information that I taught you. Right. And that is how I feel. Right. My hope is that I give people something and then they're able to take it to enhance and enrich their lives and the lives of others. And so I'm always very, very humble, thankful, and blessed when I get to see that um, kind of circle back. So thank you for the work that you're doing, Dr. Keisha. And thank you for joining me. And everyone
Woo!
else, you're very welcome. And so for everyone else, until next time, remember you deserve to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. Peace.
Ashe.